This is Kristen Nedopak. First of all, I want to apologize for being gone for so long. Sometimes in this business we just get a little busy, and I have been keeping up with the Vampire Diaries, however, and I've seen every single episode. So I thought I needed to come back to talk about this freaking epic finale that is the end of the season. I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of sad. I loved it. I mean, look, I came dressed. I've got my Vampire Diaries bag in the background from Comic-Con. Got my octopus. He's not on TVD. And I've got my really super cool ring from Etsy. That is it's my power ring. It's going to help me talk about the show. So, first of all, let's talk about what we thought overall, as we usually do. I don't know, you guys. I love this episode. I mean, this entire season has kind of just been like a crazy smorgasbord of like heartful emotions versus high action, as always on the Vampire Diaries. And this episode was no different. I really, it began super, super fast, high action, tons of stuff. The supernaturals are back. Shit's going down in Mystic Falls. As usual. Don't ask me why people still live there. I don't know. Actually, no. There's a lot of hot people there, so I would definitely move into that neighborhood, but that's a story for another time. And then, once we started getting into the Bonnie storyline, it's like, people that are dead, that can't tell anybody that they're dead, and they're going around saying goodbye to their friends. The whole graduation point itself, which kind of happened about like a third of the way through, that was very touching to me. And so overall, I really thought they did a great job with the mix of action and, like I said, all of those emotions that they love to make us feel, all the way to the very end, which we'll talk about in a minute. There were definitely some surprises I did not expect, and now I'm like, oh yeah, what's going to happen next season? Because there is a lot of stuff going down. So first, let's talk about all the supernaturals that came back, because every time we lose a character on this show, we're sad, right? Because we love Rick. I freaking love Lexi. She's like one of my, aside from Caroline, she's like one of my favorite girls on the show. And so to have her back and to start the show off with her and Stefan, Bon Jovi's playing, they're like reliving the 80s, they're having a good time. It was so good to see some of these characters come back. Rick's over here hanging out with Damon, having a drink. Jeremy's back, of course. And everybody was having a good time and reliving old memories. And of course, the bad guys came back too, but whatever. We didn't really miss them, right? But we missed our good characters. And so that's one of the things that I love about the show. And I love that Jeremy is back now because, of course, he can see ghosts. And I'm hoping that they continue to bring back the characters that we love. Again, that's Rick and Lexi, first and foremost. And Grams. We love Grams, but, So now, Bonnie is kaput. Again, I was originally wondering how they were going to carry that off because Bonnie is our only witch on the show. She's a main character. Obviously, the trifecta of girls has broken. We've got two vampires and we've got a dead witch. That graduation couldn't have ended any worse for these girls. And so I was wondering how they were going to handle that, but I thought it was cool, again, that they brought Jeremy back, because now I'm seeing that this is going to be Bonnie's link to the other side, that Jeremy and Bonnie are probably going to have a relationship next season, the relationship they never got to finish, and so I think that that's going to be a way for us to bring Bonnie back. And of course, we're probably going to end up finding another witch, her dad, her whole family there. There's going to be somebody that's coming back on that side of the supernatural so that we don't just have, hybrids and vampires and that sort of thing. But we'll see, we'll see what happens. I did think it was kind of a shocker, but again, maybe they'll introduce something else for the love of God. Hopefully it's not fairies, kind of like True Blood, but we'll see. So let's move on to some other important things here. So we talked about, I've got my little notes here. I seriously have like 4 pages of notes because it's like, holy crap. Oh, so to talk about the graduation for a minute. I thought that was a really great, again, touching, but very symbolic moment for the Vampire Diaries, because this entire show has been based in high school in Mystic Falls. Now, every single one of these characters has graduated. And you know, those of us that are a little bit older, graduated a while ago, maybe some of you haven't graduated yet, it's this beautiful moment in your life. You know, this entire time you're growing up in your small town, you've been under your parents' wing, you're going to school, you have homework, you have all these things that we do when we're young. And when we graduate, it's like our transformation into adulthood. And it's huge. It's probably the first huge epic change that we go through in life. And again, some of you maybe haven't been there yet, but you will, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And I just felt that they really captured that moment here on the Vampire Diaries in this season finale. I felt, even though these characters, you know, they're all supernatural at this point, or the majority of them except poor Matt, I do feel that they captured that moment where it was a transformation in time. Now for the next season, I think we are going to see something completely different. Maybe they say Mystic Falls, maybe they don't. You know, for a minute there, it looked like Stefan was about to leave. And so I think they're going to begin incorporating different things. You know, we know that this original spinoff is now taking place in New Orleans. I think they did a great job of moving that whole family out that way. But I do think that there's going to be ties back and forth. So let's talk about the originals for a minute. You guys, come on. I love Team Forward. I absolutely do. But I'm not going to lie. I love Klaus and Caroline, especially because Caroline supposedly hates Klaus. You know, all women say that with bad boys. But he's been there for her so many times. He got her that dress. He came back. He kicked witch butt there. He like freaking decapitated a witch, dead witch, for her. And I don't know. I think Caroline's growing fond of Klaus. And for the love of God, okay, So then Klaus is like, happy graduation. Tyler's now back in town. So again, we don't know if he's coming back next season. That'll be adorable. But Klaus says, you know, Tyler, he's your first love, and I intend to be your last, however long it takes. It's like true romance, you guys. Come on. Even if you hate Klaus and Caroline, how did you not get all sappy at that moment? So moving forward with the original spinoff, my big question is Caroline going to sort of play a part in both shows? Because I'm assuming that if they're going to have the Vampire Diaries next year, they're going to put the originals like either right before it or right after it in the timeline of shows. Probably not going to put it on a different night. And so I'm wondering how many things are going to be going back and forth. I think Caroline is obviously a prime example of a character that can work either way. And so maybe this whole love triangle is going to be a Caroline, Tyler, Klaus love triangle. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not complaining. I love Klaus. I love the originals. And so I just really thought that was adorable, you guys. And speaking of another original vampire, Rebecca. She is an evil witch. B-I-T-C-H. I won't say it, but she is. But she is also transformed throughout this entire season. And, you know, for a minute there, I was wondering if Stefan was going to give her the cure, and I thought she was going to be, you know, I saw her standing at Matt's door, and she had that long necklace, and I don't know if they did that on purpose, but I thought, is she wearing the vial? Is she going to take it? But she didn't. However, she has transformed into a very adorable person, and I think it's just really cute that her and Matt are going to go on this little road trip. Maybe we'll see some of that next season. Maybe that'll be a little spin-off. I don't know. But I do think it's adorable that both of them have sort of, you know, gotten together. I don't know, I just think they're a really cute couple. And she kissed him, and it was cute, and she saved his life. I think they're off to a good start here. So I did. I love that moment between them, and I'm very happy that it happened. We talked about Bonnie a little bit. That was really sad. So yeah, let's get into the juicy stuff. Let's talk about Delena. Let's talk about Stefan and Elena and Damon. I was kind of wondering what was going to happen. I thought that they were going to take the easy way out, and they were going to, you know, her sire bond isn't there anymore. It was really cool of Stefan to offer Elena the cure, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But I thought that they might take the easy way out and go and have her go back to Stefan. But she didn't. It was adorable. She said, thank you for everything. Obviously, that's like a pain through Stefan's heart because we had that beautiful moment where he said, she is my true love. But then in the car, Lexi's like, yo, dude, you're a vampire. Like, how long have you been alive? He was in love with Rebecca, right? He's going to find somebody else. And I'm really excited for that to happen because I love Stefan and I love good Stefan. It would have been really cool to see him as a human, I have to say, because I love him so much. However, we do now know that Elena has chosen Damon. And like Rick said, he got the girl. I've been a fan of these guys since season 1, and I absolutely knew that this finale was going to somewhat end with them because every single season does. And so I'm happy for these guys. Elena is obviously a vampire. She didn't take the cure. And so I think that this is going to be an interesting relationship, and we're going to see what happens when the two of them get together for good, for now, right? Because it's Vampire Diaries, for now. We'll be happy for like one episode next season and then they'll change it. I know, you guys. Way too much. But I'm really interested in seeing what's going to happen. And I'm happy for Damon because he also has made a transformation into a much better person, a much better vampire. And so I want to see where this goes. So then there's that killer fight. We finally had Kat back for the last few episodes, and I freaking love Kat because she's just, it's like the same girl, right? Elena, and then we have Kat, and it was so great to see Nina Dobrev play so much range this entire season. She was Elena, then she was Elena as a vampire, then she was Elena as this like heartless vampire, and she was just like such a bitch. Oops, sorry, I said it. And then we have Katherine over here, who is always snarky and fabulous and amazing, and we love her so much. She's another one of these amazing female characters. And then to see the two of them fight was awesome. And they've obviously gotten a little bit of a tiff before, and we know Elaine wanted to kick Katherine's butt. But I have to say, I did not expect the cure to go in Katherine's mouth. Did not expect that at all. I am interested in seeing if they're going to bring her back for the next season. I think they will. And maybe we're going to see, we didn't get the human Elena back, but maybe now we get to see the human Katherine, and maybe she's a little bit less of a bitch. Who knows? We'll see. So that brings us to the finale, the very, very, very end. And it's Stefan. Silas has not disappeared. He is as good as anything. He's obviously immortal. He didn't take the cure, so he's not going anywhere. And so now we have this whole other doppelganger supernatural story with the shadow self. The immortal, the ultimate immortal, has created a shadow self. Of course, he made himself a hot dude. Come on, like if you were immortal, that's hopefully what you look like. So that you were kind of cute for all eternity. But now he's locked Stefan at the bottom of the freaking lake. But here's what I'm calling, you guys. Bonnie knows Silas's real face. Bonnie is dead. However, Jeremy can see ghosts. And so I think in the first few episodes of next season, Bonnie is going to call it that is not the real Stefan. Somehow she's going to find out, and she's going to be like, Jeremy, that's not the real Stefan. And I think we're going to start off the next season with that whole debacle, and we're going to see them trying to figure out where Stefan is. And it would be a shame, of course, to lose Stefan, but now we, of course, have this evil Stefan, and we know we liked Ripper Stefan because he was super cool. We like sappy Stefan, but sometimes it kind of gets boring. So I'm really excited to see what they're going to do. I think for Stefan, that is just for Paul. That's just a great new wave and depth of character that he gets to play. And so I'm really happy for him, and I think that he's going to be absolutely into being Silas / Stefan / all of those fun things. So I think that's it, you guys. Let me look over my notes. That was pretty quick, huh? There were so many things that were happening. So we got the Caroline, we got Tyler. So let's just talk a little bit about next season, because if you guys do end up leaving your notes here, you're obviously going to leave your opinions on, this entire season, on this finale. But let's talk about next season. Like I said, I think we're going to start off, we have to obviously start off talking about Stefan as Silas. So I think there's going to be a whole Bonnie, Jeremy, Silas thing going on there. I'm hoping that Klaus isn't gone, and so I think there's going to be a little bit of a Caroline thing there. Maybe Tyler comes back. Maybe Tyler doesn't come back. Who knows, man? Maybe he moved on. I don't know. Where's Haley? Like, oh yeah, Haley. She's probably going to end up in the originals, all preggers and shit. Which, I'm not even going to get into that. You guys are so lucky that I didn't review that episode because that was a little weird. And then, of course, we have Katherine as a human, and then we have Elena continue to be a vampire with Damon. So I think there's an interesting mix of things that are happening here. Well, I would love to know what you guys have to think, and so leave your comments below. By the way, next season, you guys, I plan to have an entirely new setup in my office here. It's probably going to look a lot cooler than this. This is my home office. But I do want to do something cool, and I will absolutely try to review every single episode of The Vampire Diaries for you guys. Enjoy your summer, and if anything happens with The Vampire Diaries from now until then, we will not get into so-and-so and so-and-so broke up. We'll save that maybe for another episode. But if anything happens, I promise to try to cover it and bring that to you guys, and we'll chat then. So I'm signing off. This is Kristen Nedopak. I will see you guys next time something amazing happens with The Vampire Diaries. I definitely want to know what you have to think. Find me on Twitter @Nedopak. Leave your comments below, and I will talk to you then.